Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a podcast by Practical E-Commerce.
What is going on, Internet? Eric Van Holtz back again with another E-Commerce Conversations. Hope all's going well on the other side of the Internet. On the other side of the table from me, Chris. Welcome.
Thanks, Eric. How's it going?
Doing well, man. Excited. Man, I've got some goodies in front of me, so I'm really excited for this podcast. Chris is with Liber Company. We were just talking before we hit record how it's spelled Liber, which is a word I've never seen before. I'm not very well read. Is it a real word?
It is, yeah. Liber was the Roman god of viticulture, so winemaking and having a good time. He had his own sort of coming-of-age celebration. So, in layman's terms, he was basically the god of drinking and having a good time. So
Okay.
He was Liber Potter, and he was also related to like Dionysus. So a lot of those kind of go back in the wine history. But ultimately, we kind of just took him as a obviously very fictional person, very old, but thought the ethos of what he represented was similar to what we were trying to capture as a brand. So just kind of stole him.
For regular listeners of the show, they may know I'm kind of libertarian. So I don't know if that Liber and libertarians have any kind of like liberty.
Yeah.
Is that associated?
Liber was quote unquote the free one.
Okay.
So that's an obvious etymological analogy there. Goes back. He was also coming of age was sort of the thing for them, just growing up, getting more into the culture. So yeah, we founded this company when we were early 20s. So that's definitely kind of how we felt at the time. Like, all right, we're going to take a dive into business. We're going to go into business for ourselves. I mean, that's a coming of age story.
Yeah.
As old as time itself. So formally started in 2012. Me and my founders, Adam and Robert, who are twin brothers, we all went to high school together. We went to UT here in Austin for college and started very organically, just messing around. Like we wanted to make cocktails. So we saw the niche for cocktail syrups, and craft bars were doing it in-house. And we were like, okay, I think we can do this. But really it just started out of our own interest in making good drinks at home. Very slow start. Did not do the MBA route, did not do the business plan route, did not do the VC funding. But
Speaking
that was
my
2012.
language.
Yeah.
Is it still the case, or did you guys have to pull in some money?
We did. We had a friend and family member who came in as basically a silent fourth partner in exchange for some equity. But, operationally, day-to-day, strategically, it's really been Adam, Robert, and I, which has been fun, obviously challenging. You make mistakes when you're 22 and start putting together a manufacturing company, no less. But I wouldn't change anything about it because you get an MBA just by doing it.
Yeah. Well, I want to get started because, as I already alluded to, there's goodies in front of me.
Yeah.
So we got old-fashioned cocktail syrup from Liber, and then we've got some booze. This looks more premium than the typical booze I normally drink.
Yeah. Uncle Nearest is a really cool brand. This is their premium whiskey. It's 100 proof, so a little more heat on it, but it makes a stellar old-fashioned. And our old-fashioned cocktail syrup is literally just our gum syrup, so simple syrup enriched with gum arabic, aromatic bitters, a little orange peel. So essentially we've bottled the non-alcoholic version of an old-fashioned. So we just need a 1/4 ounce with a shot of booze, stir over ice, and you're good to go. It's like perfect.
And then we got a couple of Beard brand whiskey glasses.
We sure do.
That we had. And ice cubes. Ice cubes as well. Big ice cubes.
Yeah.
So go ahead and I don't know how to make an old fashioned.
Walk you through
it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walk me through like the process, because you're eyeballing it all. You don't have any measuring.
Yeah,
You've done this before, right?
Pro bartender, maybe at home, you'd have a jigger, you'd measure it out. And this is obviously a very simple drink. Here it's just 2 ingredients.
Yeah, we don't have any orange peel. Like a bartender would put like a slice of orange peel in
And you
there
can
too.
do that here. We've expressed some orange peel into the old-fashioned syrup itself, so you're going to get some of that citrus note.
Do you need to shake the bottle or anything?
No,
or?
it's homogeneous.
Okay.
You can. Some of our citrus products you do because the pulp kind of rises up. It's a natural product, has real citrus and real sugar, but this one is pretty good. So I'm going to eyeball a 1/4 ounce, which looks something like that.
So I would describe that as, it's very syrupy looking.
Yeah, it's packed. So there's basically...
Looks like maple syrup.
Yeah, Maple syrup is very similar in terms of viscosity. You really can't hold any more sugar content. Otherwise, it just precipitate out of solution. Like the water is fully saturated.
Okay.
Which is good because, like, why am I going to sell you extra water? Like,
Yeah, and
you
then
can
you have to
just
ship
dilute
it.
it with ice. Yeah. So that's 1/4 ounce. And you can tell we didn't really use much of the bottle. I mean, there's 36 old fashions, 38 in this one bottle.
Yeah, if you imagine like a pancake that would probably be about 3 inches in diameter, that's how much the
It's a
syrup
tiny
would.
pancake. It's a very sad pancake.
It is a sad pancake.
It's like for your kids.
Well, yeah. I mean, I got 2 kids, so
Yeah.
that's the size pancake.
And you don't want to give them too much sugar or carbs.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna-
And that's about as much syrup that would cover that.
Yeah.
For
And
reference.
then, it's a 100 proof whiskey, so I'd probably air a little shy of 2 ounces, which probably right there.
Okay. So the whiskey glass is going to be about 1/3 full, including the syrup.
Yeah. And then we'll drop in some ice and stir.
Drop in some ice.
And obviously, Eric, we're leaving these for the Beard Brand happy hour
Oh,
bar.
yeah.
So
Well, we got the barber shop too. The barbers will
that's
put it
true.
away pretty quick. Do I need to refrigerate this now that it's been open?
Recommended, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fairly well preserved, but we do recommend refrigerating after open. Shelf life is pretty indefinite. It's not going to spoil on you the way
Yeah,
that
the sugar,
milk would.
nothing grows in sugar, right?
It's
like-
harder. It's
Yeah.
The Swiss cheese model of preservation is you want to throw a lot of stuff at it. So sugar is a preservative, salt's a preservative. There is some alcohol in here from the bitters, which helps. Ultimately, don't stick your finger in the bottle. Don't leave it out overnight on the bar because, yeast or mold may fly in there, but you're probably going to be all right.
Yeah.
And we do have a preservative in there. A lot of people kind of freak out about preservatives. But you really need it because we're not a single-use type product. Like
Right.
you don't
Well, I mean,
drink this way. You drink like a
You'd have to drink a lot of old fashions to go through that in a period of time that
Yeah.
doesn't need a preservative.
yeah. And so just throw it in the fridge. It should be good. That's pretty typical for all our products. These ice cubes we have are really good. It's going to take a while to kind of dilute, and I don't have exactly the right spoon. But you said you didn't even care if you had ice.
I
so
drank my whiskey neat, so.
I like it. So what are we cheersing to, Eric?
Oh man, was it a good year? Was 2021 a good year? Or 2022 off to a good year?
They both were. Our 2021 was our best year ever. We had 80% year-over-year growth. 2022's been dope so far. Actually, kind of a momentous week for us. We secured our new lease, so we're moving. We're actually no longer going to be, technically speaking, an Austin company. We're headed to Georgetown.
Look at you.
We need more space because we're a manufacturer. And a couple other great things happened this week that I can't quite talk about yet. But yeah, man, cheers to profitable,
let's cheer to
successful
that,
Austin
man.
businesses.
Wonderful years.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Okay. So a little hot still. Needs a little more dilution, but
That's good for me, man. That's
okay.
I'm used to much hotter, like
Yeah.
that's definitely
Yeah, so the old fashioned, just kind of rounds it out. You get that aromatic hit from the bitters. You get a little bit of the cane sugar, a little bit of the orange peel, but you don't want to get in the way of the whiskey, right?
Right.
Like we're a non-alc company.
we're not
We think we're
disguising
important, but like people are paying $50 for this bottle, so like we don't want to cover that up.
right. That's wonderful. So talk about that growth. Like, how were you able to have such a banner year in a time where a lot of brands were, ourselves included, we struggled in 2021, and we're off to a slow start this year from a top line perspective?
I think the overall theme that I would say is that we're just a really small fish in a big pond. And so we're mostly word of mouth. And we just had a good year in So coming off the pandemic, we saw all of our bar and restaurant business just evaporated, right? The third week of March when COVID hit. And like we knew it was happening.
Was that a big part of your business at the time?
Yeah, that was 70% of our business was wholesale to bars and restaurants.
Were you thinking about shutting down the business at that time, or?
That didn't hit us. It was a gut check for sure. But exactly in lockstep with that, e-commerce 3x'd. So like all of our wholesale distributor partners stopped putting in purchase orders. So that was a no shit. But yeah, Shopify and our Amazon store just went up. And so that was difficult. We didn't know what to expect, but it was at least like, oh, we're not losing our ass here. At least not obviously yet. So 2020, we grew over 19. Not as much as most recent years past.
Despite losing 70% of your business.
Yeah, and that's because e-commerce took off. And then we did get, like liquor stores still worked, right? And so we picked up some new distributors to help out on the retail front. But yeah, everyone had a gut check year that summer.
Yeah.
But we just kept going. E-commerce really, really helped. I joined e-commerce Fuel, got some tips from the gurus there. So we just put our heads down. We also launched some products, and that, always helps. Like you need more revenue, like launch this thing that you don't have.
Is it just like flavor iterations?
It is, yeah. We have 16 different products right now. So we launched 2 that year. Right now we're struggling with the fact that as a manufacturer, we're out of space. Like we can't really launch anymore. We don't have any more pallet positions.
Right.
So right now we're turning faster. Our inventory is going faster and faster, which is fragile, right? Because then you like that glass shipment doesn't come in on Tuesday, but you're running on Wednesday, and you're like, okay, you're turning too quick. You don't have runway. You don't have slack in the line. So that's motivating the move. So we're trying to jump from 7,000 square feet to 21.
Yeah.
Which is, a big bite. You just signed a 7-year lease.
I mean, I think, like a big reason to start manufacturing is because when you guys started as a bootstrap company, like the MOQs for a co-packer.
They were not even going to give us a time of day.
Yeah. So I assume that's why you started.
Yeah. We didn't know. We started this with Robert's credit card. I think we charged like $3,000 to his credit, like personal credit card. Our first check that we got written out to Liber Company, we like looked at it and we were like, we don't even have a bank account. Like the entity did not exist to whom this check was written to. So that is how we started, very bootstrapped. And so the idea of like going to a co-packer and saying like, hey, we want to make whatever, 150 cases, that's just not going to happen. So by force, we just did it ourselves. And then you start getting the momentum, you start accruing the knowledge base, you start getting the supplier relationships, you start getting the equipment. It kind of just organically comes together, and pretty soon you are a manufacturer. Now, there was a time 3 or 5 years ago where we did say, like, do we need to get off this trip? And I think I talked to you about this because you guys are not a manufacturer, you're a co-packer.
We'll work on product design and development and then work with the right partners.
Right, which works beautifully for you guys. You had
not without its problems.
Yeah, sure. It's not seamless. And I think I remember talking to you and just saying, like, you kind of want to pick your expertise. Like, if you're really good at manufacturing, okay, like, go down that rabbit hole. You guys found your strengths elsewhere with, social media, marketing, and product development. We have always viewed ourselves as expert product manufacturers.
Yeah.
So we're just doubling down on that, investing in it. We feel it's the right way to go.
Are you doing any kind of like private labeling or?
We haven't. A lot of people have asked us about that. I think the margin on private label is low, right? Lower than yours because you're making it for someone else. And the reality is we don't have the capacity. Now, I think new space, new equipment, more bottles per minute, like maybe we turn and say like, okay, what could we do here? Maybe like Costco comes calling and they want a Kirkland brand syrups trio, like that could be interesting, but we need to have the manufacturing capacity in first.
Yeah, I think like when you think about being in the early stage, I think, I made beard oil in our kitchen.
Nice. That's how we started. Like,
yeah. Every bootstrap company where you literally have no money, like that's your only option.
DIY.
And, I think it's, as a manufacturer, you always are going to be like, at what point does, like e-commerce and marketing and all that become a distraction if you do pick up like a Kirkland and they're doing,
you become a slave a little bit to that manufacturing quota that you've signed with other people.
Right.
Yeah, we're worried about that. I mean, we want to grow the brand. Like the most valuable thing that we have about our company is our brand. Like the products are great. Reality is anybody could reverse engineer what's happening here.
Yeah, I mean, just sugar and water.
Yeah, it's not complicated. Sourcing, ingredients, quality control. It's a food product, so there's massive safety issues there. But, 17 people at Kellogg's could do this in a week. Like, It's not a big deal.
Well, you'd think that, but those big companies...
Did you hear the Lucky Charms issue?
No, tell me.
Apparently, I mean, it's still early days, but FDA's got like 3,000 complaints on Lucky Charms, making people violently ill. So that's an issue. Like food safety is an issue for basically any company, no matter their size. But yeah, we've thought about whether or not we want to go down the route of co-packing versus just promoting our own products. We have big plans. Like we actually want to move beyond non-alcoholic syrups and do some booze stuff. Mm-hmm. And so like our eyes are getting really big and I don't...
Booze.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know. What are you thinking?
I mean,
your demeanor just
I don't want to do sunscreen because I don't want to deal with like the FDA.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't imagine the regulation that comes around with like booze and just
taxes are a big one, right? So you have to have like a bonded warehouse space, and they're very concerned about how taxes are paid on that booze when it comes in and when it goes out. And then
and then like tracking inventory because like they'll they want to know how much
oversight.
Yeah,
but margins are great. Per bottle unit cost would go up. I mean, we sell these small bottles. Actually this one's more expensive. This is 16, but our typical products are like $11.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go to the booze side, and we would not start with whiskey, we would start with liqueurs or something like that. Yeah. But that's a $30 bottle. There's a lot of margin there to play with. The issue with that is distribution is state by state.
Yeah. I mean, if I were you,
yes,
and I'm not you, but I would be selling accessories to the drinking. So glass, like come up with a beautiful glass. That's the perfect glass for an old fashioned.
Like cocktail shaker or something like that.
Cocktail shakers, spoons. You talked about the spoon sucks.
Well,
you
this
should be selling.
This is like a teaspoon. There.
Come on. We got to have our Liber and company.
I think I need to get your bar more set up properly.
And then like helping people build out their little bar setup. Like you said, and then that way you're not dealing with all the headaches that come along with booze, and then you can still like maintain that quality. And
I like that. I think that's a great compliment. And like you even have the branded tumblers here. I mean, this is a stock product.
And we got problems with it. Yeah.
So. But every time you drink this, you're reminded of your brand. That's just like you want to go back to the well over and over again in the customer's mind as much as possible. So yes, I want to do that.
But like Rydell, Rydell makes these wine glasses.
Yeah,
you'd have the Rydell for old fashions.
We want to do that, and we have plans too. I think that is, like you mentioned, you said accessory. I agree. I think it is an accessory product. It is an order bumper. So average order value on our website's like $60 or $70. I think we do the glassware, accoutrement, like cocktail shaker. Maybe we get that to $75. It's a marginal bump up. I want to do it, but in terms of overall velocity, like brand equity and sort of placement in the market, I do want to get into booze.
That's the other problem, is just like the passion. It's like where it's not the problem. It's
the motivating issue, but it can be blinders, right?
Yeah. Like I had this passion to do international business, and
y'all did that for a while, right? UK at least.
Yeah. And I mean, we don't do it now.
Okay. So, what'd you learn?
Just like the operational complexities that come along with a completely different market, and then supply chain issues and different fulfillment center, different currency, different
Juice wasn't worth the squeeze.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure it was profitable, but it just got to a certain point where it's like it's distracting us from being able to grow at our core. As a bootstrap company, I only have so much resources, so I want those resources to go to the things that are as efficient as possible.
Yeah, you got to pick your battles, pick your lines of product expansion.
But anything like beyond syrups is going to be a little bit more of a headache. Like these glasses. Like, how can we not print Beard Brand glasses that don't have
chips and defection? Yeah, and then shipping that, right?
Right.
That's pain. We already ship glass, but like this is anything will break that.
Yeah. I'm surprised your AOV is so high for a $11 and $16 product. So they're buying like 6-packs of them, and
I mean, we do. There's all these sort of tricks of the trade for e-commerce, like free shipping after $50. So that helps. We also do certain breakpoint discounts at 6 or 12 bottles. So I don't remember the exact specific, but I think at 6 bottles you get maybe like a 10% discount, and then at 12-pack case maybe a 15%. So yeah, it's been going up.
But I mean, can people drink that much old fashioned, or is it bars that you're selling to online, or?
It's mostly direct to consumer, home bartenders. People tend to load up, especially like they'll, the products do last quite a while, but I would say, we do have bars and restaurants that still order from us online. Right. I don't know why. Like we have a wholesale portal. You get a better price. Like, I'm talking to some of the Alamo Draft House out there. Like, I don't know why they do that, but I think that's artificially inflated because of those bars and restaurants. But even if you took those away, we're definitely over 50. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at like 4 or 5 bottles.
Right.
But I think when cocktails, if you're
they want to try different ones too.
That's it.
Right?
They want variety. Like it's like going to the brewery. Like you're going to get the mix and match, right? You're not going to get just like a 6-pack of IPA. Like you want a sample. So I think that's what people do, is they just pick different cocktails, pick different flavors.
So most of your growth you've continued to see since 2020. Is this growth on Amazon? Is it on Shopify? Where are you seeing the growth happening? And then how are you driving that growth?
Both are growing. We do more business on Amazon, although average order value on Amazon is very low. So It's usually 1 bottle. I think our average bottle count on Amazon is like 1.15, barely over a bottle. And it's probably 40% more total revenue on Amazon. And it grew after the pandemic that much faster.
Yeah.
Amazon is good for us because we're very tightly controlled about who gets our products. We don't battle third-party resellers. So we have essentially for all of our distributors contracts that say, hey, don't resell this on Amazon. And we've had some issues with that. You've kind of got to slap some wrists, but haven't had any break any knees yet. But in general, we are the only person selling our product on Amazon. So that's very helpful. Usually the funnel, and like maybe I'm telling myself a story I want to hear, is they buy it on Amazon and then they go to our website, because all over our bottle is like, okay, you want cocktail recipes? We have 600 on our website. Go there, and then they kind of convert back.
Right. Do you have all of your SKUs on Amazon and your site?
We do, yeah.
So you're not doing a lot of marketing to drive people to your store then?
Not a ton. I mean, after the iOS update last summer, we pulled all of our Facebook ads.
Right.
We do Amazon ads a little bit, although we're playing around with deleting a whole bunch of those. And so far that test looks good. Mostly it's word of mouth. It's like a lot of people on Instagram who are repping us, tagging us, Reddit. We're big on like the cocktail Reddit and like tiki Reddit.
Are you, I mean, you're not doing anything. It's just organic.
Mostly organic, yeah. And the other thing that's good for us is bars and restaurant, right? People go to Saltgrass Steakhouse and they get a pineapple margarita.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is this? And then the bartender tells them, gives them the recipe. Our name, our brand is printed on the menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then so many people, Grapevine, the post-purchase questionnaire. Yeah. So we use that. It's like basically, where did you hear about us?
Yeah.
And so many people would say like, oh, a bar. Oh, my friend. Oh, I saw you, on Amazon. And so it's very good to get the feedback of how people are coming to our brand, but it seems mostly organic and very little ad-driven spend.
Our North Star attribution is a Grapevine post-purchase survey. We don't lean on like the Facebook ads or anything like that.
So what creative uses have you all found for Grapevine?
So we just do the post-purchase. It's just learning, like, where are people coming from?
So you're asking them questions?
Yeah. It's the exact same question. Where did you first hear about us?
Okay.
So it's just one question. And then I've got like YouTube and word of mouth and TV and podcasts.
So YouTube, you're kind of been the YouTube king for a while. Your brand is crazy.
So half of our business of new customers is coming from YouTube.
That's wild.
Now, granted, it's not just all of our content. We also lump in like influencers who we work with and ads that we do in there. But yeah, YouTube's kind of like our bread and butter for.
We're early there. You and I had conversations 5 years ago, and you were basically like, Chris, stop overthinking it. Just grab a camera and just do it and post it and just get going. And I was like second guessing myself and wanting to be a perfectionist about it. So we didn't do it as early as we should have. But we've got a few thousand subscribers. We've gotten great feedback, and we're pushing YouTube. The good thing is it's evergreen, right? Yeah. Those products and those videos.
Well, I think like today too is like TikTok and Shorts are where I would tell you to go.
Fair.
To figure out that model and how to get something down to 15 to 30 seconds. And you could do it like just old-fashioned recipes, drink recipes. Like, man, you'd have millions of subscribers on TikTok.
We're working on that. So our marketing lead, Alex, and our marketing assistant, Christina, who's great. Like, they're both cocktail novices, but they get it. They get the game. Christina's like 21. Like, she turned 21 in December. So we're like, okay, now we can actually serve her alcohol.
Yeah.
But she's really bright. She's very creative, and she's pushing TikTok.
Right. Would she be on camera? Like, is she a good
she's,
host?
if you go there and you are even on our Instagram short, she's like the girl who's doing all of our videos, and she's just a really great character for us. And so I think we're going to push that, and it's great for like quick stuff, 15, 20 seconds. YouTube, I still like for the longer form. Like if I'm going to do a deep dive and review a bunch of bourbons, that's really hard to do in a short. Right. And some people do want to sit down maybe with an old fashioned for 15 minutes and watch that long form video. So it's kind of bifurcated, and we want to capture both audiences.
One of our partners, Jeremy Sires, I don't know if you know him or not. Mm-hmm. He's like big into whiskey and bourbon. So he'd probably be a good introduction.
Sounds like I need to send him some stuff then.
Yeah. I don't know if he just does bourbon or if he does old fashions or not, but there's usually
we could probably twist his arm a little bit there, Yeah.
That's cool. Are you doing any kind of influencer outreach or?
We have, yeah. We've done a little bit with Instagram. We've been lucky there. I mean, people generally just love our products and kind of don't ask for much, usually just samples, right? Which we're very liberal with sending stuff out. YouTube, we've recently started to pay to play. Found some cocktail influencers who are basically they're doing a cocktail review.
There's one here in Austin too, isn't there? Like a big,
there's a whiskey
person.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked to them. They're usually more booze focused, less cocktail focused, but again, doesn't hurt to reach out, see if they want to try an old fashioned. But yeah, that's been very helpful, and the endorsement on that has been great. These are usually former bartenders that maybe got laid off during COVID, and they just are going to take their knowledge into their home studio. And one guy I'm thinking of, his name is Anders Eriksson. He's out of Chicago, and he does really great stuff, like very high production quality, but also just knows his stuff. And like for cocktails, it's a rabbit hole. You got to go deep. Yeah. And that's the kind of nerd stuff that people just like crave for the longer format videos.
Right.
And so, yeah, we partnered with him. He's loving our stuff. It's a really great match, and we basically have him on.
Is that just like an affiliate network, or do you sponsor him, or like how does that relationship?
We sponsor him, and then we, for the video that uses our product, we'll do like an affiliate discount link in the YouTube video that sends people to the website, and we can track that, right? So we know that it pays for itself. We know that it's really, really profitable, and for us, it's all about word of mouth and eyeballs because we're still small fish.
What does that reach out look like? Like, how does that conversation begin? Is it you sending it out, or like how big's your team now too?
We have 11 now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, usually it's, hey, let's reach out to this guy, introduce ourselves, offer to send product, a little bit of brand history, like why we got started. People usually like how we got started. We're not like the VC backed, like we're like we were in it, right? Yeah. We were like cocktail nerds ourselves. So they appreciate that. They appreciate that we're making these products the same way the best bars are. We're not using like artificial colors and like sucralose and stuff like that. It's made in the same way these bartenders would make it if they were behind the bar at their restaurant. So we have that kind of social proof initially. And then from there, it's a conversation. It's like, hey, would you be interested in using some of this stuff? Formalizing that relationship is always tricky, right? It's kind of a negotiation. It's a back and forth. In general, it's never been like knockdown, drag out. Like it usually makes sense at a point, and we just very flatly tell them that this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then you get the returns, you get to evaluate. So far, it's been nothing but upside for us. You know, it's not like 10x ROAS, but it's definitely worth it. And because it's YouTube, it's evergreen. Like we're still going to get those links 5-10 years from now.
Yeah. So let's segue back into your big project you're working on, becoming a Georgetown company.
Yeah, it's massive.
It's funny. You are one of many people I know who are like either building properties or like looking for warehouses or moving, like
Been
Peter
looking
Keller.
for 18 months.
Peter Keller with Fringe Sport, Roman with Mira Safety,
Yeah.
Molson with
Fireheart. Molson Hart, right?
Molson Hart. Do you follow him as well, or you know him?
I've met him a couple times here in Austin.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, he bought some land out in Hutto,
Yeah.
and that guy is kind of a trip on Twitter. But yeah, I followed his excursions about his whole land issue, and he had some water issues.
He was on the podcast as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I should listen to that. Okay, good.
Well, it hasn't been posted yet, so
I will listen to that. Yeah, we didn't want to buy dirt because that is an even bigger project. We did think about buying. Felt like the use of those money would be better in terms of like brand runway and taking off more there rather than kind of being like a real estate arm. But, Austin real estate, I mean, you own a house.
Yeah.
Like you can't really buy anything here. So maybe 5 years ago, if we would have been ready,
Yeah.
would have been the smarter route. But yeah, we're going to lease, just signed a 7-year lease on a 20,000 square foot space. We do have a build out ahead of us.
Yeah. That's scary. I mean, that's like that's always been I'm like a commitment.
You don't want 7-year anything.
No, yeah, I'm like petrified of commitment when it comes to anything in the business. Like my
Says
marriage,
the guy with wife and kids.
Yeah, I'm married 16 years, happily married. My business partnerships are great, but like when it comes to a lease or something, I'm like, because so much could change with the business in 7 years. Like you could blow up and like need 40,000.
Yeah.
But I guess like the thing that I always try to remind myself is if we blow up and outgrow it,
Good problem to have.
Yeah, and you'll be able to afford paying off that lease or subleasing it or whatever. That won't be that big of a deal. But if you implode and go the opposite direction, I guess that's a little bit
we do have a sublease opportunity, right? You could kind of scratch your way out, but it's definitely a risk. The alternative for us, I mean, we couldn't stay put, right? I don't think. Like theoretically, you can just stay at your current level of revenue and profitability, but like a business that doesn't grow is probably just a business that's dying. It's a brand that's dying anyway.
Right.
And we want to grow. Like we have big plans. And so pushing the gas meant for us finding a lease space. And so what we kind of did, and I lead ops. So basically what I did is picked a product velocity, like a throughput number for 5 years from now. So most of the way through the lease. And I said, realistically, at our growth rate, with our plans, with our brand, can we hit that? Yes. Okay. Then I worked back from the build out and said, okay, we need something around 17 to 25,000 square feet. That was the range. And then the build out in detail is built around hitting that throughput as like, bottles per minute off the line. How much sugar can you dissolve into grapefruit juice? Like it's pretty basic stuff. And we know our process so intimately that it's pretty easy to forecast. So we have literally like a 5-year goal and we're just going to like race to hit it.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, terrifying and great. Like, is the long run to exit and sell, or is this, like you and I share this passion for the businesses we're building? Do you want to build like a quote unquote lifestyle business, which is kind of
give
like
it to your kids.
Yeah. Multi-generational business.
We need to have that conversation in detail. Robert and Adam and I have been kicking that around. Part of that was pushed off because we hadn't signed the lease and now it's made real. So that is definitely that's on the short to-do list. In general, what we've learned, if you build a profitable company, you have good systems in place, you bring in good people, which I know you and I both made mistakes on the personnel side.
Yeah. Great people who just aren't the right fit for a company.
Could be that too. Yeah, fair. If you build that, and you're not going to do investment, then that kind of looks pretty similar regardless of if you're going to hand this off to your kids or you're going to look for an exit.
Right.
Down the road, when you're actually like looking at a business broker and, getting your audits in line, that starts to look good. But you're close to the finish line at that point. So I think right now our heads are have been down, building, maintaining profitability, which was pretty scary since COVID. We've done a really good job. And now with this lease sign, we're going to kind of look up, and the hard part of like planning and strategizing is about to happen.
Yeah. I think about like equity and selling the business a lot. Like that's
Do you have like a formalized plan?
No, I don't, because, the plan is to enjoy the journey and to enjoy working on the business and to have a business that's profitable and puts food on our table and a roof over our head.
For sure.
But I think about, someone mentioned this to me once, is like when you sell your business and you use a broker, they're taking their 6% commission or whatever. And it's like literally they got 6% equity in your business.
Yeah. It's like
and all they did was like connect you to somebody else. And they deserve 6% of your business for that. They didn't do all the sweat. They didn't do all the suffering. They didn't do anything. And they got 6% of the business.
If you can get the same deal without the broker, like all day, do that. The question is whether or not the additional value of the broker pays for themselves. And I guess it's also the work, right? I mean, selling a business, everyone says, is a lot of work. Like it's super distracting. It's stressful.
But that broker's not doing your audit. That broker's
they're not doing the audit.
They're not doing your books.
Yeah,
they're not doing any operations.
That's
like
true.
They're just connecting you with a buyer.
We really know how Eric feels about brokers right now.
I mean, obviously there's value in it, but it's just kind of like when you think about it, like who would you give 6% of business to me? Like
it depends on if we get your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Audience, could very well pay for itself.
But I mean, obviously they have value, but I think like they take advantage of owners who are just ready to be done. Right. And they're like, I don't care. It's just, it's just a sales
They want
commission.
the headache to go away. Maybe.
They don't view it as equity in the business. But the first 6 years, imagine if you hired a CEO and you're like, hey, CEO, I'll give you 6% and you just take away all my headaches and make me a bunch of money and I don't have to do anything. I can work on something else. Like, how many people would do that? It's like,
very few.
Give your 6% to a CEO to make your business amazing rather than give it to some broker who's just going to take it off your hands and fix your problem by selling it.
So what alternative like exit paths have you thought about?
I'm just going to die,
my exit is the dirt.
Yeah, that's my exit right now. Like, it's just, I don't know.
That's kind of brings up an interesting point, which is that you on a day-to-day basis seem very excited and satisfied by the business. Like I imagine your day-to-day is similar, but not always the same. You have personnel, you have product launches. Like it's a dynamic life that you're living, and that just feels comfortable for you. You don't want to trade that.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Like I enjoy work. I enjoy the product we're working on and the people who I work with and my business partners as well. And of course, it's not to say like, if something happens in my business partnership or that relationship and then, like business changes. Sure. Like I've been in business for 10 years, so it's nothing static. But yeah, for right now, it's like always the focus on like, how can I enjoy the journey? And if I can enjoy the journey, then why would I get rid of it? The only saying to that is like, if I have something that's like a bigger vision,
right? A
bigger vision than Beard Brand, where I need capital for it. Like Elon Musk wants to build rockets, so he sells PayPal, he gets all that money and buys some friggin' rockets.
Right. But you obviously don't have that vision, at least.
No, I don't.
Yet.
I don't. Yeah, or not yet, or, and I don't think I don't have that risk tolerance either that Elon Musk has.
Like I think there's also something to say about, it's not the right word, but basically it's how greedy you are. It's like, how much do you want your net worth to go up?
Yeah.
I mean, some people just like desperately crave that exit. They want to not work anymore. They want to basically, I think the quote is like "fuck you money."
Yeah.
They have a number in mind.
I think it's the funny thing for me is I don't think it's necessarily greedy. It's just ego points. It's like, how much can I tell the world that I'm worth?
Yeah.
And like, I did a 7-figure deal. Oh, I did an 8-figure deal. I did a 9-figure deal. But there's always going to be someone who did a bigger deal than you.
Yeah. You don't want to compare yourself to other people.
Right.
You will be unhappy forever.
And then the difference in your life between selling for, 5 million and 40 million is probably negligible.
You think so?
I mean, maybe a little bit different, but like you get to buy airplanes at 40 million.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, but if you don't fly airplanes.
Our new building is literally across the street from the Georgetown Municipal Airport. So now I'm kind of thinking about, a company plane, how that would change my life.
Well, I mean, the problem with the airplanes, if you get in a flight, you're just going to die.
I know,
those little planes, they kill people.
That and helicopters, right? I mean, there's like so many instances. Like Bezos almost died in a helicopter out in West Texas.
I would believe it. What's his name? Basketball player, Kobe.
Yeah, Kobe.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how rich you are; those things are dangerous. I sorry to end on like a
sidebar.
Kind of a bummer now. Where can people buy this stuff? This is great. Like I'm feeling pretty good by the end of this. I don't know.
Eric's about an ounce and a half into some 100 proof
I'm a lightweight.
whiskey.
Yeah, I'm a lightweight.
So online is the best way, right? I mean, Shopify. Hit us up at liberandcompany.com.
And is that like LIBERAND
all spelled out? Yeah,
COM.
Liber Co is a Parisian bookstore because another meaning of liber is like paper, which is originally for books. So, you'll be on the wrong site very obviously, but liberandcompany.com. find us that way. We do our own fulfillment, so you'll be supporting us very directly that way. If you're in Texas, liquor stores, Specs, Total Wine, Twin Liquors, we're available that way. But generally, e-commerce is the way to go.
Are you on Twitter?
As a company, we are, but that's...
No, as you.
Oh,
it's people follow you.
I'm a lurker. I don't
Okay,
know how I feel about the whole like super public persona. Like, I mean, I know that's been, you were the face of the brand, and like
Right.
you got started with the blog and then the whole Reddit thing. Like, you launched Beard Brand. I've been always like a little bit reluctant to do that. I don't even like post them on Instagram. So
Yeah. So find their support email address, and I'm sure it'll get to you somehow.
somehow, yeah.
All right, guys, this has been another e-commerce conversations. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you had an old fashioned in your hand when you're listening to this. As always, this has been another e-commerce conversations. Cheers, and keep on growing.